as I drive on here. But while I find you something else to look at, James has got the lions again.
They've lifted their heads, everybody. This lion has lifted his head, he's yawned, he's looked into the night, and perhaps he's about to go stalking off into the darkness. Or maybe he'll go to sleep. Yes, his eyes are becoming heavy. Oh, shame. Oh. There we go. Ooh. Come on, give us a call. This is wonderful. The ones behind us are calling as well. You never get tired of that, everyone. And this female, I think, is in search of the rest of her pride. And they're so full, just in case you're wondering why they're not hunting, why they're not doing anything more effective than snooze, well, it's for exactly the same reason, of course, that the Nkuhuma pride isn't doing a great deal of hunting at the moment. It's simply because they've eaten so much over the last little while, especially in this area, and had all of those wildebeests to devour, and so that's what they've been doing, and that's why they're hungry, and that's why they're not hungry. So I think our little plan is going to be to head away down towards the crossing point where we were earlier, and we might be very lucky to find something fascinating there. Well, I'm pretty sure we will, but we'll shine the thermal camera into the darkness and see what we can find. I'm hoping, the only 2 times I've ever seen an aardvark were well after 10 o'clock at night. We've just hit 10 o'clock local time here. Maybe we'll find a Kenyan aardvark as we go. Right, here we go. One last look at the lions. There they are. And on we go. Hello, Andy and Julia in Los Angeles. You want to know if lions see differently? I think I heard you correctly. Lions see differently during the night and during the day. Well, they don't see differently in so much as their eyes don't change at all. But I mean, exactly like you suggest, similarly to us, they see different shades because there's no light, and because they have a different ratio of what we call rods to cones in their eyes, it's a little bit more, what did I want to say? They can see a far greater sort of contrast difference between light and dark, but they can't see the same depth of color that we can, and that's the sacrifice you make for being able to see at night. Where do you want to go? Sorry, I'm just talking to Simon, everyone. We're just going to do a loop. Do you want to go back?
No, I don't know. We're still doing all.
Yeah. Sorry, we get another question again from Justin S. I was just talking to Simon there. You want to know how much colour, if any, a lion can see. Well, apparently lions see in sort of shades of red, was it green and blue? And so it's pretty much, I think it's pretty monochrome. Other than that, they don't see any kind of yellows and oranges and reds and that sort of thing. And so it's very much the same for us, seeing in black and white. But they don't see black and white, and that's key, because of course many of their predators prey, for example something like an impala or a nyala, or in this case out here I guess an eland or that sort of thing, well, they're just obviously red coloured, and to us they're pretty easy to see, but to the lions they disappear in amongst the greens and blues. Now this is a fairly main road, it runs parallel with the Mara River, and we'll turn towards the river shortly and see if we can't find something there. I know there's a road I want to take to the left, it loops back towards the river. Right, let's get the thermal camera out there. Graham, what have you spotted? Apparently something off to the left, nothing particularly entertaining. Otherwise, nothing, but if we do see something we shall be sure to tell you about it, no doubt. Alright, Jamie is back with some lions. I don't know if it's the same ones. If she's finished her border patrol, then any luck it's some new ones. Let's go and find out.
We just can't seem to go anywhere with bumping into lions at the moment. Djuma seems to be crawling with them. We've just come across this magnificent male lion. Unfortunately, he's just finished roaring. He's giving us a spectacular display of the lion's vocal prowess. And what an incredible sound that truly is. Now we're going to reposition slightly now that he's decided to settle down, because we might also get to hear the rest of them responding. I have to tell you, after I left the lions just a moment ago, just as David and myself were far enough away, they started roaring as well. He's going to get up. Where are you going to go, boy? Let's stay with him. Male lion on the move is quite a spectacular sight. He is heading south, so very soon he could hit our southern boundary, but let us stick with him while we can. What an amazing night this is. Don't disappear, boy, while I'm turning round. He's stopping every now and again to urine scent mark the various bushes and trees around him. Mostly guarri bushes, which is their standard approach. He's listening now for a response. There it is. There's the response. Just trying to listen to where those... There we go. Nothing quite like it. Okay, let's catch up with him. Never ever gets old, that incredible sound. Okay, on with the engine, and off we go to catch up with him once again. Hopefully we get a couple more opportunities just like that before he goes south. He knows where his buddies are. They've been calling in response. Those of you who have got the dam camera on at the same time, you might even be hearing them as they start to move north. He's going south, splitting up as the Birmingham boys go about their nightly patrols. And this time we get to go with them. How exciting is that? As we trundle along behind our gentleman, and while we wait for him to give us another roar, let's go back to Taylor, who's got a little birdie in a little tree.
I hope you all enjoyed that very powerful roar from the Birmingham. I could hear it in the distance, and it was so beautiful. Now, as we were driving along looking for insects and other little creatures that we could find, I spotted this lilac-breasted roller who's roosting up in this marula tree, and I just thought it was quite amazing how it's leaning up against that quite thick branch, and then it's just perched on a smaller little branch. Now, I don't know if this bird, or if birds can see the infrared light. I'm uncertain. It is watching us, but the fact that we have stopped the vehicle and it's quite close to the road as well is possibly why it is looking at us. But I know birds can see ultraviolet light quite well, and that's actually what they look for, especially some of the raptors. They specialize in picking up the UV signatures of urine from the rodents and various other creatures. So it'd be quite interesting to find out if birds can see infrared light. But I don't want to disturb it anymore. I just wanted to quickly show you what the birds do at night and where they roost. And they do go to sleep. They don't spend the entire night feeding. And let's carry on down the road and see what else we've got. What else do we have, everyone? We're trying to move along some different roads, some roads we haven't driven today. And I did spot some bush babies, but they were in a very far distance and I couldn't off-road to get to them, unfortunately. So there's a lot of silver cluster leaf trees around here, and they seem to quite enjoy the silver cluster leaf forest. They've got nice branches for them to bounce around on, so I'm keeping an eye out for some more bush babies. There's lots of them around at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen so many bush babies before. So I'm very excited with the warm weather and the warm months to come as well. And hopefully I'll be able to actually photograph. Oh, we've got more mating insects, and we don't have mating two-spot insect beetles. We've got a different kind. We've got those ground beetles that we saw probably only, about 5 minutes ago? Let's see. Iggy, is that fine? Yep. I can hear some elephants in the distance too. So we've seen two different types of beetles mating this evening. Here we go. That's very interesting. You can see that one's just got too many legs and too many antennae. It's quite hard to tell from the back that there is actually two beetles there. Remember, everybody, we're live at the moment, and if you have any questions for myself, James, or Jamie, you are welcome to either hashtag Safari Live, or you can even email us, and you can send those through to questions@WildEarth.tv. And I cannot wait to hear from you. We're having a fantastic evening out in the bush. It's a lovely adventure. Sorry, everybody, I got distracted by a little cockroach, but let's leave these lustrous couple and let's carry on. Love is definitely in the air tonight, everybody. I feel like I need to start singing. Right, who else have we got hiding in the bushes? So something that Eggsy and I have been chatting about probably for the last half an hour now is if we could find any chameleons. And I thought I actually had some chameleons just a few moments ago, but they turned out to be leaves. So Liz was wondering if we're going to see any. I'm working on it. I'm looking for them right now. So where we need to look is we need to look on the edge of branches. So the sort of trees that are overhanging in the road, those would be good spots for the chameleons to sort of sit on. So that's what I'm looking for. I think we could be a little bit too early, but we're having so much luck this evening. I'm not going to cancel out anything. Well, we're having luck with the insects, but that's fine. Something different and something interesting. Janie's managed to carry on and find those Birminghams. Let's go back to her.
There's nothing like having a massive male lion walking out of the night towards you. I've shot ahead of him, and we're actually reversing ahead. I'm just making sure we don't go tumbling into twin dams, because somehow I think David might be quite cross with me if I did that. Still got him there, Dave? Well done. Okay, I'm going to watch the road behind me, sort of. It's quite difficult to do this during the day. It's very difficult to do it at night, but it gives you the most spectacular images. Aha. He's going to cut the corner. Okay. Let's just go a little bit further. Ooh. Nearly drove off the damn wall. That wouldn't have been ideal. Yeah. Safari Dean, you were wondering if lions ever call at night to stir up the animals hiding in the bushes. And no, I don't think they do. I don't think they want them, when they're hunting them, to be alert to their presence. I think it's more about, it's all territorial, it's all to do with the dynamics of the different lion prides in the area. It's to do with letting other males know that they're there. The females do the same thing for other female prides, and so on. So you know, Sfaradine, that that's why they roar, of course. I know that you know, but here we go, here we go. Such a cool noise. Okay, let's go catch up with him. He's about to cross over our boundary. Thank you, mister, for giving us that one last show of your incredible ability to roar. It's amazing. Our lions have the most incredibly specially adapted diaphragms and structures. Their ribs are not connected at all, and their larynx muscles, or at least their larynx has a muscle that connects it to their diaphragm, which essentially pulls it down and allows them to produce that incredibly deep bass note. Okay. Here is our boundary up ahead, Gowrie Main rapidly approaching as he walks with a slight limp, which is relatively common for a dominant male lion in power. Life is tough, and they usually don't come out unscathed. He hasn't eaten nearly as much as his buddies have. They were full-bellied when we saw them. He is not. Oh. So when I said he was going to disappear across our southern boundary, he had other plans. One of which was to lie down just to the north of our southern boundary. That was very considerate of him. In that case, let's reposition slightly so we've got a better view than the back of his head. Not that there's anything wrong with the back of his head. As we spoke about earlier, they could be in shampoo commercials. My goodness, there are so many moths down my shirt. Ticklish. Here we go. One more roar for us, buddy. The Birmingham boys are spreading out this evening, making sure that they head to different corners of their territory. Or, collapsing in an exhausted heap on the ground. That works too. Yes, I know, it was a long way you walked. It must have been nearly 500 meters. Right, I'm glad we repositioned. That went very well, didn't it, Dave? And this is pretty much how lions move throughout the evening. Walk a bit, relax. Walk a bit, relax some more. But in this way, you could easily end up walking 20-25 kilometers tonight. They've got an enormous perimeter to patrol. And I suppose roaring must be quite exhausting work as well. And to the south, his territory stretches all the way towards Mala Mala. And to the west and to the east of us, in equal distance, right towards Kruger on the east, and then back towards Elephant Plains in the west. And I would say that if I had to guess at the size of the Birmingham boys' territory, I'd put it at around 10,000 hectares or so, 8,000, 10,000 hectares. And the frogs are positively deafening, as a gentle reminder to me that I'm going to have to do some brushing up on my frog calls. Some of them I've noticed have got a little bit rusty. A lot of what you're hearing now, though, is rain frogs. Typically, the road that we're on at the moment, Gowrie Main, when we sit here during the day, we're constantly moving backwards and forwards for vehicles. But right now out here, it feels as though Dave and I are completely alone with this male lion, which we are. Right, if I reposition, mister, are you going to move? What do you think? Probably not, huh? You look relatively comfortable for now. Alright, let's try and get a slightly different angle. Perhaps a slightly better one. And let's try and dodge the giant leadwood branches as we do that, so we don't wind up having to change a flat tire in the dark. Wouldn't be the first time I've had to change the flat tire in the dark. Okie dokie, whilst we reposition and shuffle around and get a better view of our lion, let's jump back on board with Taylor and find out where she is and what she's up to.
We've stumbled across a herd of impala. As you can see, they're a little bit jumpy. Some of them got up, and you can see most of them are sitting down and resting, though it's quite a big herd, and they are in the distance. So we've just got a little glimpse over here of a few. It'll be quite interesting to see how they're going to behave. And they actually don't seem too bothered at all. That one's carrying on with its daily activities, it's grooming. And the frogs and everything are chirping away, even having a little scratch. Now, the impala will sleep during the night, but when I say sleep, I don't mean like the Birmingham is doing at the moment. They're sort of just sitting, resting, ruminating, like you can see that female is doing over there. So while you'll have most of the herd sitting down, there'll always be a one, either a male or a female, that will sort of stand up and sort of stand guard and just keep an eye out. Now, these impala aren't out in the open. They're actually in quite a wooded area filled with plenty of silver cluster leaves, trees. And normally what they do is they come out to the open. And I think I was chatting about this last night. But just to recap, it's important for animals that are prey to animals like lions and leopards to move out into the open areas. And that's just sort of a natural defense, because it's easier to spot a predator coming towards you on a big open plain than it is to see the silhouette of something coming towards you when there's lots of trees and shrubs around. So it's quite risky in here. It's a good opportunity for a leopard to come through, because they'll have quite a few different things to hide behind, though I don't see a moon at the moment. It's very dark out here at them. I wish I could actually show you the stars, because that's something very special about Africa as well, is the wonderful stars that we have. Very little light pollution. Munching away. Let's move on from these impala and let's see who else we've got. A slight wind picking up, but hopefully it doesn't blow too strongly. And I haven't seen any more interesting or mating insects. It's like everybody's gone to bed now. Oh, just lots of millipedes on the road. You'll see me scanning from left to right, just searching the trees for bush babies like I've got over here. It's actually better if I went back. Can you see where I'm looking, Eggsy? Yep. Don't jump away. Has it jumped? I don't want to turn the vehicle off in case I think it has. No, I can still see it moving around in the fork of the tree. Hang on, we've got quite an obstructions. And no, hang on, it's jumped, everybody. I have to move. Hang on, there it is, there it is. Quickly, Eggsy, quickly. Go down, go down. There it is. Zoom in there. There we go, everybody. Another lesser bush baby. We are spoiled this year. Look how quickly they move. Let's see if we're going to see this one jump. Whee! And it's landed over there. This is really testing Eggsy's skills, everybody, and it is gone. I don't know if we're going to get another look at it. See, it's hopping through the trees at the moment. There it goes. Well done, Eggsy. It's still sitting there running along the branch. Now you can definitely see that they can leap up to 2 meters. Wow, that's spectacular. They've got a very good hand and eye coordination, everybody. And they need to be able to have that to catch all those flying insects. Oh no, it's still there. Oh, you jumped towards us. That's kind. Oh, you're coming even closer. You're coming closer. I don't know if you can see it hopping away. There it jumps again, everyone. There it is. Small little critters. Not big. Only about 40 centimeters in length. And that's from head to tail. You go forward. So if you were to take your ruler, I'm going to use a ruler for scale tonight. And if you take your ruler and you add 10 more centimeters, so 1/3 of your ruler, then you'll get the length of a bush baby. There it is. Still there. I'm trying to turn the vehicle off. Not particularly bothered by us, which I'm quite impressed by. And I'm not going to use the infrared here, just because it's quite difficult to keep up with this bush baby. Look at that long tail. What are you looking for? Something I'd really like to see is I need to reposition again. Oh no, you still got it there. Is to see a mother bush baby carry its young sort of in its mouth and jump from tree to tree. I think that must be very impressive to see something like that. You can just sort of see it in the background there in the middle of your screen. And we're actually having quite a long sighting of this bush baby. Normally they're very quick. Just a little glimpse. Oi! Boing! I always have a good chuckle when they're on the ground and they're bouncing. They remind me very much of the gummy bears. Oh, I found it again. Let's see if we can get another view of it. You are the most accommodating bush baby I've ever come across in my life. But now I say that, no, he's still there. You can just see its eye shine. Well, where did you go? Oh no, it's still on the branch. Just see it moving away at the back. Now, I don't know how you tell whether it's a male or a female. I think that's quite difficult. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, at the bottom. Oi, jumping towards the back. You can just see the branches moving in the distance. Let's see, maybe it comes back again like it has been doing. Moving across, jumping again. Yes, keep jumping to the right because you're going to come out into the open. There, it's on the ground, on that log. Whee! That was a big one. No, it's gone a bit further to the right. It was in there somewhere. I just saw that. No, it's moved now. It's on the trees at the back. But I don't know if we're going to see it now. No, now it's gone. Okay, everybody, it's jumped away from us. Oh no, it's back again. Oh my goodness, it's bizarre behavior. Jumping away from us and jumping towards us. Just when I think we're not going to get another view, it surprises us. There it is, on the back trees. You have to go even further past that. Eggsy, to the right. Up. It's gone now. Okay, everybody. I don't know if... Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. It's moving. There it is. But this bush baby is now jumping very far away from us, and we're not going to off-road to try and keep up with it. But I think that was an incredible sighting of a wonderful little bush baby. So we're going to head on over to James, who's got a glimmer of the moon.
It sounds like you're having a fantastic time there with the leaping bush babies of Djuma. There is the, well, 2/3 moon of Kenya. And it'll be 2/3 where in Djuma and 2/3 in the United Kingdom and 2/3 everywhere else, if I'm not mistaken, today. We are still in the southern hemisphere, in case you're wondering about the orientation. Sorry about my audio, everybody. It will be the same orientation here as it is back at Djuma. Now, we've stopped here next to our male lion because he has lifted his head up. This is the other brother. Now, I don't know for certain, what their names are yet. We're just getting to grips with that. But if you look at this chap, there we are. There is a lion called Scar in this coalition, apparently. That could be him. If that's not the same as Scarface, who that is inescapably not. He does have quite a few scars on his face. And just to reiterate, everyone, these lions not moving around for exactly the same reason as the Nkuhumas aren't. They've just eaten too much. They're just like you are after a heavy Sunday lunch. Good night. Hello, Robin D. Very good question from you about how a coalition knows where its boundaries are when they take over an area. Robin, I think it's largely from the smell of other lions. Just up ahead, John. Oh, you've got him. And what they do is they smell other lions, and that becomes the boundary. So if you take over a territory, this guy looks a bit stiff. He's just having a stretch. Take over a territory, and they will be bounded by other lions. It's very seldom that an area is completely devoid of lions, and that's how the territory will stay. But of course, that can shift. So if that coalition that is on, say, the southern boundary of a lion's territory passes on, then they will probably expand because they cannot smell those old lions around the place. So I think it's largely based on how the other lions that they smell in the area and how confident they feel about challenging those other lions. I think it probably also has to do with the female territories, because very seldom, in fact I can't think of an instance where a male's territory will encompass a female's and then half of another one, or half of an adjacent female pride's territory. In fact, that's probably more likely to be almost the answer in its entirety. So we know the Birmingham boys dominate two prides, the Sticks and the Nkuhumas, and their territory quite neatly fits over the two of them. It's probably slightly bigger, but I don't think they have half another pride's territory. Shall we have a look at the thermal? Dromedary, this is quite a nice thermal image, if you like. I didn't mean to sort of tell you what to do. Sandy, sorry, my Skype call broke up as your question came through. I think it was, are these boys the same size as the Birmingham boys? Was that correct? Oh, you say they seem to have much thicker front legs than the Birminghams. Sandy, no, I don't think they have thicker front legs. I think what you're noticing is that they are fuller built. They're really kind of right at the almost the sort of optimum weight that they'll get to, somewhere between 7 and 8 years old. And I think these guys, the very blonde one looked to be about 6 to me, but maybe a bit older. Some of them probably about 7. So they're almost at their full weight, which means that they will be stockier than the Birminghams. I don't think they're any taller. They may be slightly taller, but not much. Their manes will be definitely fuller, and they will be heavier than the Birminghams are at the moment. But the Birminghams, I don't think they're very big lions. In fact, I think they're on the smallish side. But they'll get to about this size when they're 7 or 8 years old. Righty, let's carry on along the road. We might be lucky to find a few more creatures of the Kenyan night. Well, hang on a second. Let's just wait and see if he doesn't call. See if he's got a very beautiful voice like his brothers. I've never met a lion with a poor voice, you know, Gendre. Right, let's leave him to luxuriate in the tickling of the red oat grass. On we go. Jen Ward, you want to know if I've got my blankie? I do not have my blankie. I've got another blankie. Here we are. It's actually a seat cover, Jen. This entire car is covered in a rather bizarre green tartan, which we've yet to find the origins of. And I've got the seat cover from my seat over my little exposed leggies. Thank you for your concern. Ooh. Another one's going now. I'm going to sneak back just in time for them to stop. You got them, Jondo? Ah, we stopped just in time. Oh, that was absolutely hopeless timing. Alright everybody, let's go over to, I think it's Taylor. Is it Taylor we're going to? Rebecca? It's Jamie. Let's go across to Jamie.
Another novel experience for us. Let's try and reposition. We've got an elephant herd here in front of us. You'll notice I've got my spotlight on. I'm not shining it at the elephants, but I am using it to make sure that I'm not driving in between the herd, and just to provide me with a little bit of light every now and again to see exactly where they are and to watch their body language so that I know if it's okay to approach them or if it's not. Guys. And once we stop here, I just keep a gentle eye on what's happening. Okay, and there we go. An elephant herd in the darkness. Might not be the best view we've ever had, but it is fascinating to watch. Well done, Dave. I don't know what you did there. There's nothing quite like sitting in the dark, just listening to elephants feeding. The sounds of their crunching, amazingly silent creatures, unless you can hear what they're feeding on. You don't hear the sound of their massive bodies moving through the bush. They're like giant ghostly shapes moving in the darkness. This is one of my favorite things to do when I'm out at night. And we do occasionally go out at night, and maybe we go visit friends or whatever it is that we happen to be doing. Especially when you get a full moon. You can sit perfectly placidly in the darkness, surrounded by elephants, and they're absolutely fine at night. In fact, they're usually very nice at night. As long as you sit and you don't bother them at all, you get to enjoy a really spectacular atmosphere. Nothing provides that sense of peace like sitting with an elephant herd. And it's even more pronounced at night. There's a very, very big female there. She's the largest that I've seen so far. And of course they're perfectly aware of our presence, but they don't seem to be terribly bothered. I'm speaking very, very softly, obviously, since we don't want to disturb them. Although they are primarily, I suppose you'd refer to them as diurnal animals, but they do continue to feed throughout the night. They don't really have to be worried about much out here. Oh, there's the antenna, in case you're wondering what that giant glowing white stick is. That's the antenna. Why are you suddenly going this way, big girl? Which way are you planning on going? So I'm not shining at her, I'm just illuminating the road in front of me so that I can see what she's up to. And if she went across the road to feed, yeah, she did. She did just go across the road to feed. And because it's dark and because I can't see, I've been keeping a relatively safe, or definitely a safe distance, a relatively large distance between myself and the elephant, just to make sure that we don't get ourselves into any trouble. And what a special way to spend an evening. This entire experience has been mind-boggling. I'm hoping that they might decide to come a little bit closer if we sit nice and still and give us a slightly better view. It's always best to let the elephants approach you. I keep glancing down at my monitor because I can't see exactly what Dave is seeing. And I'm just ever so slightly dropping the spotlight onto the ground to try and make sure I know where they all are. Here you go, Gracie. He's 9 years old. I know that elephants are one of Gracie's absolute favorite animals. And Gracie says, yay, elephants at night. So I'm glad that we could spend a little bit of time with elephants for you, Gracie. I'm going to try. Actually, I'm not going to reposition for now. I'm just going to make the most of this sighting and try and listen to whatever it is they are up to. As they gently browse. I can't reposition right now, I don't think. I'll keep that little bit of light on. Or is that light making your life more difficult, Dave?
Better.
Better. Okay. And I'm sure that they are incredibly happy that we've had as much rain as we have had, and that very soon the bush will start to go a little bit greener. They'll have something more exciting to snack on than the bits of bark that they've been surviving on over the last few months. For now, though, this female is very focused on digging something up out of the ground. using those massive feet and trunk in conjunction. Aha! There's something that I've been very much on the lookout, apart from elephants. Taylor's got something definitely much smaller and probably better at jumping.
I could do a happy dance, everybody. I've finally found my frog. Well, I think that this is actually a little toad that we're looking at. I remember finding one many months ago and photographing it. Now, it's quite small. It's probably the size of a South African 5 Rand coin. I'm trying to think what else I could sort of give it a size reference. So if you take your index finger and your thumb and you make a circle with it and you look in that circle, that is pretty much the size of this toad over here. So if you can all take a screenshot of it for me, Eggsy's going to zoom in now, so I could please look for it a little bit later this evening. Now, amphibians are my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I love them. Them and elephants and hyenas. They are what I live for. So it'll be quite interesting to see what this little chap is. And I have a beautiful big frog book back in my room. And this will be the first thing that I look for. Because I do actually have a photo of it, but it'd be nice to have a photo of this one. And you can see it's got its mouth slightly gaped. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing. It's not making any noises at all. It's a very quiet frog. And it also doesn't seem to be too bothered by us. I thought it was going to hop into the water as we arrived, but thankfully it did not. You know what you are doing. And normally they would be sitting here calling away, hoping to entice or serenade a lovely lady. But this toad seems to be the only one here. There doesn't seem to be anyone else around. You can see, very quiet. Probably singing, I'm Mr. Lonely, I have nobody, I'm all on my own, or something along those lines. But I'm so happy I spotted the little this toad's eye shine from the road. We are covered in spider webs, everybody, as well. Everywhere we've been driving, we keep taking out spider webs, unfortunately. Fantastic. I wish this little one would give us a call. Then it would also make it much easier for me to try and figure out who this amphibious creature is. Right, fantastic. Let's see if I can find anybody else, everyone. We're going to move away from this amphibian now, and we're going to see what else we can find. Maybe we can find some more. Just quickly double checking. Nope, it is Mr. Lonely. Right, now let me just quickly reverse out of here and make sure that I don't drive into the watering hole, just to get back onto the road. Navigate at night, but it turned out to be a very productive little road, and doesn't look like it's been driven in a while. Definitely not since the rains. I hope it is indeed a road and it isn't just some erosion that's been washed away. I don't think it is. It's maybe just an old road that is not favored by the rangers in this area. So something that we haven't seen yet are fireflies. And Erica wants to know, do we have any bioluminescent creatures? Now, Erica, we've got the fireflies, which emit a wonderful little chemical that allows them to glimmer at night time. Other than that, I'm not sure if we've got anything else. I think it is just the fireflies, but if I am incorrect, you're welcome to let me know and educate me by either using the hashtag on Twitter. You can do hashtag Safari Life, or you can also email us at questions@wildearth.tv. Who else have we got? What? This is very bumpy, this little road that we seem to have stumbled across. Poor Eggsy is holding on for absolute dear life. Now we're waiting for the chameleons, everyone. James has got another hippo. Head to him while I look for some chameleons.
We have no... Okay, we're live, everybody. Right, sorry about that. We just lost our communications briefly with the final control. Look at that very, very pretty picture going on there. A hippopotamus standing beneath a fascinating tree called Balanites aegyptica. And I think that's called a desert date in English. Now, of course, many of you will know of the Balanites tree on Djuma. That's Balanites magami, the torchwood, and that tree that we've just seen there is one of the most iconic trees of this particular part of the world, dotted across the clearings. This is a wonderful hippo sighting. We thought this hippo would move off. Many of them have moved off away from us, but this one is feeding sort of and then listening every time I exclaim its magnificence. That's fantastic. Look at that. Now you cannot believe that those great big chomping teeth have any usefulness to a grazing animal, and they don't really, except when they're defending their territory or their babies from crocodile attack, perhaps. But that hippo is now slightly suspicious of what it feels is probably a slight tingling in the eye, but it can't really see what it is that's doing that. And they've hardly got incisor teeth. It's basically their lips that they use to pick those great big swathes of grass. That's very cool. And I'm just going to quickly send a message to the final control via you that I cannot hear them at all. I'm going to close down the call and try and redo it. Just amazing. That hippo's got no idea. I'm afraid I've lost the final control completely, so I can't talk to Rebecca. I'll try and WhatsApp Jerry. Now, of course, the point of my telling you all of this, everybody, is so that they can actually hear me. There we go, where we've got Jerry back. Hello, Jerry. Now, what's interesting, are we still live, Rebecca? Oh, we're still live. That's wonderful. Now, a hippopotamus, unlike its rather large equivalent, the white rhinoceros, doesn't eat nearly as much food. Apparently, almost half to two-thirds of what you'd expect for an animal like this. So a hippo, at least a big white rhino, will eat about 40 kilograms of this kind of grass a day. And a hippopotamus, well, I've read things as small as 8 kilos, and it might be up to sort of 20, but it's definitely far less than a rhino. And I think that's because they don't do anything in the day. They just lie in the water, wallowing about the place. They don't actually have to hold their whole mass. Oh, Jesus, we have an amazing time with the bush babies at Djuma. There's another one now with Jamie.
Yay! One of my favourite nocturnal animals to look at. A little bush baby who's been giving us the most incredible demonstration of its jumping skills, hasn't it, Dave? We've been chasing it backwards all the way down Gowrie Main. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And he's testing my spotlighting. Whee! I've lost it. I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Jeepers. Oh no. Oh no. Where'd it go? I can't see it anymore, Dave. How did we manage to stay with it for that long and now we lose it? We've been reversing all the way down Gowrie Bay, not chasing, but keeping up with this. Ha! I got you. With this little bush baby. Okay, where are you going to go from there? Now the name Bush Baby, to answer Fran's question. Okay. Don't go. We're going to go backwards a bit. Next thing I'm going to find myself in the middle of that elephant herd again. I better be careful. Where'd you go? Aha, I see you. Okay, I'm going to answer Fran's question in a second. So Fran would like to know whether or not a bush baby makes a call. And Fran, the answer to that is actually the reason behind the name, oh my goodness, little thing, bush baby. Because particularly the greater bush baby, which is the greater galago, one that we don't see, that I've never seen here, but you do see up in the sort of northern parts around Pafuri. There he goes, in the middle of my spotlight there, and he's in the marula tree. He's keeping Dave guessing. There he is. Baby, hence the name bush baby. Sound. Really, it really sounds like that. It sounds like a crying baby. I've got it again, but I've lost it again. Where'd it go? Sorry, Dave, I've lost it. No, there it is. It is in the middle of my spotlight. It's just not looking at us right now. Oh, there's two. Okay, this little one's going left again. Okay. I think, oh, there it is. I think this might spell the end of our bush baby sighting. Okay. So our lesser bush babies are a little bit quieter than the greater bush babies. They don't make as much noise as these do. They can make a sort of a chirping, hissing sound, especially when they're cross with each other. They sort of swell up and get very cross. There's one there, Dave, in the middle of my spotlight, but at the back. I don't know if you can see it at all. And I can't. Yes, there you go. I can see the eyes shining. There you go. All done. I can see you, little thing. Just your eyes at the moment. Glowing back a bright red colour. There's nothing that looks quite like the eyes of a bush baby. Mandinga, you would like to know what the estimated population of bush babies would be within the Kruger. And that's a really, really difficult question for me to answer. I read one study that in thick bush willow woodland, they encountered 500 per square kilometre. That's a massive, massive number, and that I think was a slight overestimate of that particular study. I don't know the answer to that. If I had to guess, I would say a good 100,000 or so. Possibly even more. There are lots and lots of lesser bush babies. A smaller number of, there's two of them there, actually. But I'm just trying to find a clear view for Dave. Come on, little bush babies, come a bit closer. I do see them, but they're very, very difficult to see, and they're very difficult to film. They do live in little family groups. They all sort of nest together. And they'll often go out foraging. They forage alone, but they will occasionally meet up with another member of their family group. They're not strictly territorial, though. So it's not like they are defensive if they ever meet a stranger or strange bush baby. They just maybe inflate a little bit. Oh, wow. I'm going to reposition. I've got something to show you. That is so cool. Bear with me one moment. It's going to totally be worth it. Might not be the best view site I've ever encountered, but it's still an awesome view. How's that, Dave? Cool. The moon on its way up. How's that for colour? Bright orange. And as the moon rises on evenings like this evening, especially in winter's months or after the dry season, the amount of dust and atmosphere gives it that orangey colour. Let's head across to Taylor and see what she's up to.
Hang on, everybody. before I get talking too much, I've just spotted a white-tailed mongoose, and now it was racing off into the distance, so we are trying to just spot it again. Where? Oh, there it's, my goodness. Can you get it? It was hiding in a log for us very nicely, but unfortunately it's now shy and has moved off. Still in the distance. Let me see if we can get it again. Maybe it stops at the next log. There it is. No, I don't know if we're going to see it again. I'm afraid it's disappearing. Ah, okay. Well, we tried, everybody, to see where it goes. Did you see it? It's disappearing to the left. No, it's gone. Okay. Well, we tried, everybody. We did have a very nice white-tailed mongoose, and unfortunately, they are very, very secretive creatures, and that was the largest species of mongoose that we see in this area. Now, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed the show this evening. It's been full of surprises and lots of adventures, and I hope you're looking forward to joining us tomorrow afternoon as we do another safari marathon. But I'm going to head off and curl up in my bed, though before I do that, I've got lots of research to do. And I'll get back to you on some of those answers tomorrow. So from myself, Taylor, I hope you have a lovely evening. And Eggsy, I'm sure you want to give one last goodbye. And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget to tune in.
After a marathon game drive, I've had an absolute ball. And I think it's almost time for us to say a goodbye and a farewell to all of you. I do hope you've enjoyed yourselves. It's been spectacular from our side. Dave and I have had one of the most memorable experiences I know I've ever had in the bush, and Dave says likewise. So from myself and Dave, a big thank you, and a big thank you to Dave for all of his amazing work. He's done some spectacular stuff this evening. Thanks, Dave. And to our wonderful directors in Final Control, especially Rebecca for keeping us under control, and to all of you for joining us. Have a wonderful time wherever you are in the world. We'll catch up with you tomorrow on the Sunset Safari. Bye-bye, everybody.
Alright, everybody, that's going to be it from us here in the Mara Triangle, as well as the Sabi Sunt down in sunny South Africa. It's been a real joy to bring this to you, and I'm really looking forward to the next 4 nights or so. Hopefully those lions will get off their bottoms and do something useful. I'm sure the Nkuhumas will as well. A big thank you to Jean-Andre. Thank you, Jean-Andre, for your efforts. A big thank you to Rebecca and Jerry and Louise in the Final Control, with Alex, the Russian, who apparently looked miserable from beginning to end, but that's pretty normal. And a big thanks to Graham and Emily, they're here, and to Jamie and Taylor and the big cameraman team down on the ground there in Johannesburg. We will see you tomorrow in the afternoon, 3 o'clock this side, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock this side, 3 o'clock that side, a little bit tired. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.